So, there's this new mech series that I've been recently introduced. Looks very interesting, but it's really old. Oh, there's a trailer for a new addition to the series? Check it out. Holy... Okay. Armored Core 6 has been out for a while, and I finished the game on stream recently, after playing through it on my own time before starting this YouTube channel. What can I say about the game? It's a giant robot game, and everyone knows I love giant robots. With that out of the way, it's clear to all that I'm definitely biased. I've always loved mech games, with my first game being MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries on the ancient Microsoft Windows operating system. Ever since that game, I've been hooked on mechs. With that said, I'll move on to how this review is going to be formatted. There will be 3 sections I will gush over. The first one being how the combat feels. A lot of Armored Core 6 is about finding the right build for the opponent you're facing. A lot of people don't understand that and likely refuse to try new builds once they got to Beltaeus, making them drop the game. It's true, the game at launch had a very large difficulty spike on this particular boss battle, before getting nerfed along with the Sea Spider. I've died quite a few times myself against the heavy helicopter that ambushes you at the start of the game, as well as all the bosses. All weapons feel weighty, except for the lasers. They hardly make any noticeable noise at all, now that I think about it. There are 3 different types of engine: internal combustion, circulating current, and coral engines. Internal combustion engines and circulation current engines don't really have much of a difference between them, but I assume there's some build specific on these types of engines. I didn't notice. But circulating currents likely being energy weapon specific. Coral engines mix up the gameplay by having them make you want to fully deplete your EN, while the other 2 rely on managing your energy properly. EN itself functions not unlike a stamina bar in Souls-like games. Another thing that I enjoy is the melee combat. It's rather simplistic in design, but effective. I do wish they were a little more creative with the melee combat, but sticking to what they know is fun and understandable. Next up is design. This is talking about anything from enemy designs to environments. There's a number of design elements that can help you determine what type of build the enemy has, especially when looking at the color of the plasma the armored cores produce from their thrusters. Internal combustion engines have the expected orange color, circulating current engines have blue flames, and coral generates a striking red color. This helps you determine what to expect from your enemy's movements with Zerlo on EN. Honestly, the weapon design leaves quite a bit to be desired. A lot of them came off as overly complicated and unremarkable, which is why there is a number of them I don't remember off the top of my head. Enemy design is great. I remember a number of corporate and subject guard MTs and LCs and HCs. One of the subject guard MTs actually reminds me of the Raven for Battletech. Almost all of the AC designs are memorable, but that might be due to the pilots and side machines' personality shining through. I mean, I hate Snail, so of course I'm going to remember the narcissist when I see his AC. Iguazu, affectionately called Iguana by me in the community, also has a memorable AC design. I still remember getting annoyed with his pulse shield when I was unloading laser fire into his AC. The environments in Armored Core 6 are super memorable. Every environment has its own vibes, from the industrial, war-torn, flooded city you find yourself in the mission to the underground depths of Institute City. The story itself can be ignored if so desired, but I really enjoyed it. The idea of a man setting out to do a job to make sure a universe-ending calamity is permanently in the ground is great in my opinion, even if he tried to distance himself from 621, the character you play as, to keep his true intentions a secret until he felt the time was right. Over the course of the story, Walter grows fond of 621, establishing what many interpret as a fatherly bond to his hound. For a long time, the only people that treat 621 as human is Walter and Rusty, a Rubicon Liberation Front spy very dedicated to keeping his cover. Another character that has an important impact on the story is Iguazu. Even though he's a bitter, jealous man, Iguazu's story is not a happy one, but before he was augmented as a Gen 4 augmented human, he had a habit of getting into fights and lost it all to gambling. Because we are also just a Gen 4, forced to undergo augmentation too. Later on in his life, he joins the Red Guns, Balam's elite AC squad. The Red Guns are headed by Commander Michigan, a drill sergeant-sounding character who I actually find really endearing. Even though he calls everyone a maggot in the Intercept the Red Guns mission, he calls every single one of his MT squad members by name, showing he cares enough to actually know the grunts' names. I find that highly respectable. I love Michigan's banter too. Like Rusty and Walter, Michigan acknowledges 621's achievements throughout the mission, in stark contrast to the anger Iguana has and Snail's narcissism. The plot revolves around Coral, a sentient, self-replicating fuel source. The last time large amounts of coral were found, it led to a calamity known as the Fires of Ibis. The issue lies in decided if coral's destructive potential outweighs their need for life. In my first playthrough, I felt Walter was wrong about needing to destroy thousands of innocent people, so I helped Air stop Overseer. Afterwards, I paid more attention to the story and realized what Walter was truly concerned about. If coral became widespread in the universe due to its self-replicating properties, a calamity worse than the Fires of Ibis could eliminate all life, coral included. The amount of destructive potential coral has is absolutely terrifying. The only issue I have with the story is Air, mostly because I'm just gonna get attached to her the same way I did Rusty or Michigan, or Walter. Her boss fight is fun, but the writing for her feels minimal at most. I understand that she would grow attached to 621 as they're the only one that she can talk to, but she feels hollow is the best way I can describe it. Her voice actor is pretty good though I could definitely feel the emotions coming through her during the boss fight.
I realize what you are. The spark of war. Fires that haunt Rubicon. My brothers and sisters.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Fire ends this, Raven.
In conclusion, I need to stop here because this is a review, not a summary of all the events in the story. There's a reason why there was a refocus on mecha games after this one released. Play it when you got the time. I highly recommend it.